friends, welcome back to Homestead on a Prayer. In case you're new here, my name's Jennifer. Today we have a really exciting and really quick and easy project that we're going to do together today. I just got my brand new vanilla beans in the mail and we are going to be making vanilla extract together. Now making vanilla extract is about as easy as it gets. You just are going to need some vanilla beans, you're going to need some alcohol, and you are going to need a lot of patience. So let's talk first about where to get vanilla beans. So you can get vanilla beans lots of different places. You can find them on Amazon. You might be able to get them at your local grocery store. I find though that by far the best price and the best quality comes from a vanilla bean co-op. So I'm a member of a vanilla bean co-op on Facebook. I'll go ahead and link that group in the video description. In case you're interested, you can go ahead and check it out. But you'll see when I open up these vanilla beans, I'll show you what they look like. They have always been great quality and they've always been an amazing price. So basically this vanilla bean co-op that I'm a part of orders directly from the vanilla farmers, and because there's so many members in the co-op, they're able to get a great bulk discount and a really great price. And I have been so happy with the beans that I've gotten from them so far, so I anticipate that these beans will be good as well. And they actually smell delicious. My daughter went out and got the mail the other day and she said, "Mom, your vanilla beans are here," because she could smell them in the package. So I'll show you those in a minute. I'm going to go ahead and link that vanilla bean co-op in the video description. I think there are a couple other vanilla bean co-ops as well. I am not familiar with any of them except the one that I'm part of. I imagine that they're probably good as well, but I'm just going to link the one that I'm a part of. So the second decision you're going to need to make is what kind of alcohol you're going to use. I have chosen to use vodka. Vodka, you'll find, is the most commonly recommended alcohol for vanilla extract because it doesn't have any of its own flavor. So when you use it to extract the vanilla beans, all you're going to have is the vanilla flavor. So that's a great one to start with. If you've never made vanilla extract before, go ahead and just get some vodka. It doesn't need to be fancy, expensive vodka. This is really cheap, not very good quality vodka. So I just got that, and we're just going to let the vanilla beans shine. We're obviously not going to be drinking this or anything like that. So the quality of vodka doesn't matter as much. Now, a lot of people do find that using maybe like a mid-level vodka or a little more expensive vodka might give you a slightly higher quality vanilla extract. So again, that's personal preference. I haven't noticed an issue with using the cheap vodka when I use vanilla in my baked goods. Now, there are lots of other alcohols you could use. I've heard lots of people like to use rum, maybe a spiced rum. Some people like to use bourbon. That will give you kind of a different flavor. The difference is that those alcohols have their own flavor, so it's going to slightly change the flavor of your vanilla extract. Now that could be a desirable thing or a not desirable thing, depending on what you're going for. So for today, we're just going to go basic and we're going to use vodka. So let's go ahead and open up these vanilla beans and I will show you what they look like. Now look at these beans here. Even through the bag, you can see these beans are so much bigger and thicker and so much better than what you get at the grocery store. I have ordered vanilla beans from Amazon in the past, and they made a fine vanilla extract, but the quality of these beans is so much better, and it's cheaper than buying them on Amazon, at least back when I bought them. So I'm definitely going to stick with these. Now the next thing you're going to need to decide is how much vanilla extract to make. I have 4 ounces of vanilla beans here. So the co-op that I use, you don't purchase beans by the number, you purchase them by weight. So the bigger the beans are, the fewer you'll get, but you'll get the same total weight of vanilla. This will be enough to make approximately a quart of vanilla extract. So now you're going to have to think about what kind of container you want to make your vanilla extract in. This is more vodka than I need for this project, so I'm going to save the extra for making herbal tinctures and things like that. So with about 3 ounces of beans or so, you could get a 750 milliliter container of vodka, and that would be the right ratio of beans. You're going to find different recommendations for vanilla extract wherever you look. You'll see some people that say just take a jar like this and just put a couple vanilla beans in and that's all you need. If you just want to have a really light vanilla flavor, if you were going to make like a cocktail or something like that, that would give it a nice vanilla flavor. But for vanilla extract, if you want that real rich flavor, I think the official recommendation is to use about 1 ounce of beans to every cup of alcohol. So we have here a quart-sized jar. So this will take about 4 cups of alcohol. Once we put our beans in there, of course, that'll take up a little space. We won't be able to fit quite 4 cups in there, but that is okay. That will make our vanilla extract just a little bit extra stronger and extra delicious. So you can get these alcohol bottles in 750 milliliters. If you get that, That's approximately 3 cups or so. You can put 3 ounces of vanilla beans directly into that bottle and you can let them infuse and extract in there. There's one main reason why I personally choose not to do that, which is that I like to be able to have access to my extract, of course, but I also like to be able to remove a vanilla bean when I need to. So what's going to happen is we're going to put all 4 ounces of our vanilla beans in here. We're going to add a little under 4 cups of alcohol, probably about 3 to 3.5 cups. So what that is going to do, because I'm going to have slightly more vanilla bean in that alcohol than I need, that is going to allow me to remove a bean occasionally for recipe if I need a bean for something else. I'm going to put them all in the alcohol rather than storing them in here, because if you just store them in the bag, one of 2 things is going to happen. They're either going to get moldy or they're going to dry out. And either way, they're not really going to be good for anything at that point. So whenever you get your beans, go ahead, if you're not going to use them right away, put them in alcohol right away to store them and preserve them. You can always pull them out later and use them for a recipe. Now I'm going to show you guys here. This is my existing bottle of vanilla extract. You can see this bottle's a couple years old. You can see that I still have beans in here, and I have them in this jar so that I can easily pull a bean out when I need a bean for a different recipe. Actually, sometime this winter, we're going to make strawberry vanilla jam together, and you'll see when we make that, we're going to pull a vanilla bean out of this jar and use that in the jam. Now, you'll notice at this point that these beans are not completely submerged in alcohol. These have been soaking in alcohol for over 2 years, so at this point, they're completely saturated with alcohol and not going to go bad. When you first put your beans in the jar, you do want to make sure that they are covered with alcohol. So when we add our new beans to the jar, we're going to make sure that they're covered. So let's go ahead and get these beans added to the jar. Then we'll go ahead and add our alcohol. And look at these beautiful beans. All right, so let's get these in the jar. Now you may find, as you can see here, these beans are a little bit tall. So we have a couple options here. One is that we could cut these beans into pieces. Now there's a couple advantages to doing that. One is that obviously your beans will be submerged in the alcohol when you do that. The other advantage is that your extract will be ready a little bit more quickly because the alcohol has access to more surface area. There is one big disadvantage to doing that too, and that is once your beans are chopped up, they're not really going to be good to use for any other recipes. Basically, if you keep your beans whole, like this, in the alcohol, you're preserving all of that beautiful vanilla caviar that's inside. It's protected by the bean itself. Then if you want to use that caviar in a recipe, you can just open up this bean and take that caviar and put it into whatever recipe you're using. If you've chopped up your beans, you're not really going to be able to do that. So again, it's personal preference. It depends on what you're planning to use your vanilla beans for. So what I am most likely going to do, I'm probably going to cut about half of them. I'm going to leave the rest of them whole, and you have a couple options with that. Some people like to kind of tie them in a knot like this, then it will clearly fit below the alcohol. Some people like to just fold them in half. You can kind of do what you want to do with them. Now, that kind of leads into one other decision you're going to have to make, which is whether or not to split your beans. A lot of people that you'll see will split the beans lengthwise to allow the alcohol to have access to the vanilla bean caviar and to have access to both the inside and the outside of the vanilla bean pod. You're going to get a faster and richer extract more quickly, but then that bean is not going to really be good for anything else at that point. So I generally do not split my beans. One thing that's a pretty common misconception is that the flavor of the vanilla bean is in the vanilla bean caviar itself. You know, if you get something like a vanilla bean ice cream or something like that, you see those little black flecks in there, that tells you that it's real vanilla. But those are more decorative than anything else. The caviar doesn't have a whole lot of flavor on its own. Most of the vanilla flavor that you'll find is actually in the bean pod itself. So exposing the caviar to the alcohol isn't going to extract a lot more flavor, except that your alcohol will have access to the inside of the bean pod as well. So I'm going to cut up probably about half of these beans. The other half I will tie in a knot like this. You want to have kind of a loose knot so that your alcohol still has access to all sides of the bean. But this way, if I want to use this bean in a recipe later, I can just pull it out and untie it and use it. So let's start filling up our jar. I'm going to take about half the beans and we're going to tie them in a knot like that. And then I'm going to take the other half and I'm just going to cut them into little pieces like this with my scissors. Now, just as a note, if you really start getting into vanilla, you'll soon learn that there are a lot of different types of vanilla beans out there. The most common vanilla bean that a lot of people like to start with, because it's kind of like your classic vanilla flavor, is a Madagascar vanilla bean. So if you're not really sure where to start, Madagascar is one that is highly recommended. The first bean that I extracted was Madagascar. These beans are from Uganda, so I'm curious to try these and see how the flavor compares. You can often find Tahitian vanilla beans, Mexican vanilla beans. Really, you can find them from all over the place. Especially if you join a vanilla bean co-op, they'll have access to all kinds of different sources for vanilla beans. So we have Ugandan here. So I'm just going to go ahead and take some vodka. I'm going to pour it in there. I'm going to measure it as I pour it so that I can keep track of exactly how much alcohol goes into this jar. One thing that I forgot to mention is that I like to use about an 80 proof alcohol. You can use a little bit higher than that. I think you can use up to about 100 or so, maybe even a little bit higher. But I like 80 proof, so that's what I got, which is the same as 40% alcohol. So vodka, you can usually find in 80 and 100 proof. You don't want to use something with too low of a proof because you want your product to be sure to be shelf stable. And you don't want it to be too high because you don't want it to destroy the flavor of the vanilla beans. So as I said, I use 80 proof. I'm gonna start with about 3 cups here. Okay, so I have 3 cups of alcohol measured out. I'm going to go ahead and add that to our beans. Okay, and I think that 3 cups was the perfect, so I'm not going to add any more. So basically 3 cups of alcohol, and I have 4 ounces of beans in here. So that's going to make a slightly stronger vanilla extract, which is definitely not a problem. But that also does allow me a little bit of freedom to take some of these beans out if I want to use them as they're extracting. Now, you don't have to do this part. This part is personal preference, but I am going to cover the mouth of my jar with this plastic wrap here, just because I am planning to shake this jar regularly for the first little bit while these beans really get settled in here. And I don't want to end up damaging the lid of my jar. All right, so our extract is working. Now you just want to go ahead and shake this as you think of it, and you're going to let this extract for probably longer than you really want to wait. So again, this is another area where you will find all kinds of recommendations. Some places say 6 to 8 weeks, some places say a few months. If you want the best flavor from your vanilla extract, you're going to have to be really patient and wait about a year. Now, that sounds like a really long time, and it is a really long time. But if you let it wait for a year, it's going to pull the flavor out of those vanilla beans. It's going to be so rich and dark and delicious. So it is definitely worth it. And the key is, once you get your vanilla extract started, you do not want to wait another year to start your next batch. You want to start another batch in a couple months, so that once this one's done, you already have another one a couple months behind. Another thing that you can do, which I actually have not tried yet, but a lot of people do recommend this, is to get twice the amount of vanilla beans that you want for extract and then make half of them into vanilla paste. I have not personally made vanilla paste. It is on my list of things that I want to try. So if you have tried it and you have a good recipe, go ahead and link that below or let me know your technique, because I would definitely love to give that a try. But the benefit of vanilla paste is that it's ready right away. So if you make a batch of vanilla paste, you can use that while you're waiting for your vanilla extract to extract. Now, there's lots of great paste recipes out there. As I said, I haven't personally tried them, so I don't have a specific one to recommend, but that is something I want to try. Another thing that you can do is, once your vanilla extract is ready and you start using it, what I personally like to do is take some of the extract once it's ready and put it into a smaller jar, and that way I have a small jar that I can use for my recipes. And then I can top the original jar off with vodka again to extract more flavor from those beans. Now, if you kind of keep your jar going, add alcohol as you use it, add in new beans periodically, you can basically create what's called a mother jar and keep this jar going pretty much indefinitely. So that is another approach to this if you don't want to keep making new vanilla extract all the time. If you have made vanilla extract before, go ahead and let me know how you liked it. Let me know what kind of beans you used, what kind of alcohol you used. And if you have any other tips that you want to add, go ahead and leave those in the comments, because I'm sure I would love to see them and everyone else would too. So I look forward to finally getting to use this vanilla extract in about a year or so. In the meantime, I don't have to be too impatient because I have this finished extract that I can use. As you can see, this makes quite a lot. And while it may seem like a pretty expensive investment to be buying that many vanilla beans plus the alcohol, if you look at how much this amount of vanilla extract, if you get a high quality extract from the store, would cost, you will find that you are most likely saving money in the long run and getting a better product. So when it comes time to determine if your vanilla extract is done, if you just taste it out of the bottle, you're most likely going to be disappointed. It's very hard to really judge the true taste of vanilla just on its own. So most people, I think, to see if it's done, will make a little bit of whipped cream and add some vanilla to that. You can taste that, and then you can really taste the flavor of the vanilla and know if it's done or not. Or, of course, you can go ahead and just make some delicious baked goods with your vanilla and see how it works. Either way, I encourage you to try this. It's one of those kitchen projects that is so, so easy, and you can definitely get a higher quality product by doing it yourself. So thank you guys for hanging out with me today, opening my vanilla bean package with me, and making vanilla extract with me. I hope you guys are having a great day, and I can't wait to see you again next time. Bye guys, I'll see you soon.